Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now, but I wasn't quite sure how to do it, so I'm just gonna give you guys some tips and some things that have worked for me and my family as far as going to college with kids or with a family in general. It doesn't matter if you have kids or not. If you're married, it still can be a really stressful time. Things are just really tough for you. So, the first thing that you need to understand is it's going to be life-changing. It doesn't matter. Obviously. It's going to be rough, but you need to know that if you want it bad enough, you can do it. You just find ways around it. So, the best thing to start with is, for those of you who aren't going to college yet, or, haven't started nursing school, or something like that, if you're in a transition period, I wanted to talk about how to transition your kids. I have young kids. I have young kids, so it makes it kind of difficult. There's not much that you can really tell a child this age that they'll understand that, mommy's going to school, she won't be able to play with you as much, or even, during school, mommy has to study, sorry. For those of you that don't know, I am a stay-at-home mom, and a student, so I do have the luxury of not having to juggle a job on top of everything else, but it still can be just as tough. So, but for those of you that have children who are old enough, my daughter she'll be 4 soon. She's, about there to be able to understand, but the best thing to do is sit down as a family and talk about it. Let them know what to expect, let them know what it is that you're going into, and be honest with them. Tell them, mommy or daddy, this can be for fathers too, it can be just as rough. Mommy or daddy, we're going into school, just like you guys, if you have school-aged kids, and, I'm going to have homework, I'm going to have textbooks to read, I'm going to have projects to do, just like you. And, so I'm not going to have as much time as I had before. Let them know that you're going to need them to help out around the house. I'm going to need people to do dishes. I'm going to need people to step in and do laundry. I'm going to need people to step in and do whatever. Lay the groundwork out. And for your spouse, too, let them know as well what you expect from them. Is that driving on me? Let them know what it is you want from them. It's really tough. The hardest part of being in a marriage is you get into that mindset of, he should have done this for me. He should have, jumped in and done, this part. Why isn't he helping me? Well, half the time all it takes is just going, hey, I would really appreciate it if, on these days you would jump in and finish the dishes, or if you would change the laundry in the morning. So it's the best thing you guys can do is, before you even get into college, is sit down and write out what you expect from each person. Make chore charts. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that everyone knows what needs to be done before you get in. And now, once you're in college, one of the best things you can do is to draw your kids into your learning. Now, obviously, the stuff you're going to be learning is going to be a little far above their heads, but you know what? This is the best way to encourage lifelong learning. You hear that term a lot, lifelong learning with kids, but that's one thing that, I don't know how in the world it happened with me, but I love school. I absolutely love school. I went on to summer vacation and I absolutely missed it. I don't know what it is, but I love learning. I love bringing on new challenges. And, and that's the number one thing that I want to share with my kids is I want my kids to be as excited for school as I am. And so, I do everything I can to engage my kids. And with them being so little, there's not a ton of things I can do, but I remember, when I was going through anatomy and physiology, I had little note cards, and I'd write out, when I was learning the directional terms, like superior, inferior, things like that, I'd write them out on note cards, and I'd be like, I'd call my daughter over and say, hey, come on over here, I gotta label your superior head. And I'd stick her with a post-it note, and she'd run away all happy. And, we'd have fun that way. So that was, it was engaging them in fun, to show them that, they understood that what I was doing was, I told her this is what I was learning. Whether she got it or not is another story, but, just to show her that learning can be fun, it can be exciting. If you guys have older kids or kids that are already in school, do your homework together. Sit down as a family and do homework. Show them that school means as much as you say it does. That's the one advantage that you guys have to going to school is the fact that you have the opportunity to show your kids by your actions that this is what I expect from you in school. I expect you to come home and sit down and study, and I will do the same thing. I will come home, I will sit down, and I will study. I will do my homework, and it's a great lesson for them to learn. It's a great thing for them to see, too. Share grades with each other, If you're working on a project, have them help you out with something. So if you guys have kids that are old enough, get like a chemistry set or something. If you guys are going through chemistry or, anatomy and physiology, if you find out something really cool, come home and teach them about it. Just an example off the top of my head was one of the lessons was we were talking about what what carbohydrates break down into, which is the simple sugars. And so our instructor was talking about how you can take like a pretzel stick, and if you suck on it long enough, it tastes, it has that sugary taste to it. And so, I brought that home and I was teaching my husband about it because it was really cool. And, it's just a neat way to, kind of show your family, what it is you're learning, and also to show them how excited and interested you are in the subject matter. Another thing that's really tough is, and the rest of this is going to be for parents with really young kids like me, and one thing that I found is the fact that kids don't understand when you need to be left alone to study, and especially for me, that's a big problem because I'm home with my kids all day, if I'm not at school. And so it's really tough because they're so used to having my full attention all the time. And so to go from that to now being at school, especially nursing school, where I have, chapter upon chapter to read, that, it was a huge change for them. And one of the first things that I did was I took the rule, and everyone should know this one rule is you never sit down for a study period for longer than an hour, because you won't retain as much information. Anytime after that, you get, that brain fog. So the best thing you can do is to cut off your studying after an hour, and I get a timer. And I set my timer next to me, and I don't necessarily set it for an hour. Sometimes it'll be half an hour, sometimes it'll be even 15 minutes. But I'll set that timer, and my kids know if I sit down with that timer and that timer goes off, they know that that's the time that mommy can come play, or mommy can, do whatever. We'll sit down and we'll watch a show together. We'll, play cars, we'll play, whatever. That's when I'll take my break from studying, I'll spend time with them, I'll give them the attention that they need, and then, after my break's over, I'll get them interested in something, and I'll sit back down, I'll restart my timer, and I'll, go right back into it. So you guys need to remember to take time for your kids and your spouse. Nursing school especially, they say that, your social life goes down the drain, but you can't let your family go down the drain with it. You're definitely going to be spending a lot less time than you probably have before, but you need to remember to make time, even if it means you have to schedule it. If you have to sit down and, write in a calendar, like, this night, maybe, get up a little earlier to study so that you can, maybe sit down once your husband or your wife comes home and, sit down and watch a movie together. Or, have dinner, I'll definitely make sure you guys, if you have a definite, family dinner each night, continue that. Because those are the things that, that's time for you guys to spend as a family. That's guaranteed time each day. So definitely do that. Yeah. It's just so important, especially for kids. I mean, younger kids they don't understand. They want mommy, they want daddy. They want them there to play with them, and all of a sudden, mommy and daddy is incredibly busy. So you guys need to show them that yes, we are going to be busy, we are going to be doing things, but that doesn't mean that we've forgotten you. You need to show them that, I have stuff to do, but as soon as the stuff is done, I will play with you, and keep on that. If you guys tell them that, do it. Don't keep pushing them off, just one more page. That's not fair to them at all. And, in the end, it's not going to, you're going to lose that trust as a parent to that child. So that's really, really important to keep up. So if you guys have any questions at all, all this is just me drawing from my own experience in school, things that I've thought about, that, that I want to do, that I want to try, that I have tried, that I've done, and things that, I found that work for me. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys, have any extra input for people, feel free to leave in the comments below. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to subscribe so you can follow me on my journey, and I will talk to you guys later.